In the world of cybercrime, evidence can vanish with just one click. But what if there was a clue that just couldn't be deleted? A clue that's literally burned into the hardware that criminals use? Well, today, we're going on the hunt for the network's unforgettable fingerprint. So, here's the big question for any digital detective, right? When a cybercriminal can just cover their tracks and disappear into the web, how in the world do you catch someone who seems like they were never even there to begin with? An investigation almost always kicks off right here, with an IP address. It's kind of like finding a license plate at a crime scene. But here's the thing. In the digital world, that license plate can be easily swapped out or faked, and it leads investigators straight into a dead end. The real bad guy? They're long gone. But what if there was something else, another clue, something permanent, something physically baked into the hardware itself, a clue that absolutely cannot be faked? That is exactly what we're going to dig into. Okay, so let's start with a classic case of misdirection, where that very first clue leads absolutely nowhere. For an investigator, this is just the worst-case scenario. I mean, what happens when your one and only lead is a flat-out lie, planted specifically to send you on a wild goose chase? So let's look at a real-world example. A server is getting slammed by a massive denial of service attack, and it's all coming from this one IP address, 192.168.0.7. But when the investigators track down that machine, it's completely clean. The attacker just used it as a decoy. And just like that, the trail goes cold. Or does it? To crack this one, investigators had to look deeper. They had to get past that digital decoy of the IP address. You see, a network connection is way more complex than it looks. It's actually built in layers. That IP address, our false clue, it lives up here on what we call the network layer. But the real evidence, the good stuff, it's hiding one level down, on the data link layer. That's where the physical hardware does all the talking. And this brings us to the key piece of evidence, something we can only describe as the unmistakable digital fingerprint. And here it is, the MAC address. MAC stands for Machine Access Control. Now, unlike an IP address, which can be changed or reassigned, this is a permanent serial number. It's literally burned into your device's network hardware by the manufacturer. It's one of a kind in the entire world. And here's what makes the MAC address so incredibly powerful. The first half of it is a special code that identifies the manufacturer. So just by looking at this address, investigators can tell if they're hunting for a device made by Apple or IBM or Cisco. That's a massive step in narrowing down the search. So the million-dollar question is, how do investigators connect that fake clue, the IP address, to the real clue, the MAC address? Okay, think of it this way. An IP address is like a car's license plate. You can change it, you can steal it, you can slap a fake one on there, but the MAC address, well, that's the car's VIN, the vehicle identification number. It's stamped right onto the chassis. It's permanent. And it's what truly identifies that car no matter what license plate it has. Well, the network actually has a system that does exactly this. It connects the license plate to the VIN. It's called ARP, the Address Resolution Protocol. Essentially, on a local network, devices are constantly shouting, "Hey, who's using this IP address right now?" And the computer that has it replies, "Oh, that's me. And by the way, here's my permanent MAC address." And that little protocol, that little bit of digital chatter, is exactly how our investigators are going to blow this case wide open. Because here's the thing, the local router remembers these conversations. For a little while, it keeps a temporary list. It's called an ARP table that logs which MAC address was using which IP address. And right there, sitting in the router's memory, is the link, the connection between the fake IP address and the attacker's actual hardware. And there it is, the smoking gun. In the network logs, you can see it plain as day. The fake IP address 192.168.0.7 being used over and over again by one very specific MAC address. That address led investigators directly to the true source of the attack, a compromised IBM ThinkPad. The ghost was caught. Finding this MAC address was the key to this whole case, and it's just one tool in the growing field of digital forensics. So let's take a quick look at what's in the modern detective's toolkit. Investigators use these incredibly powerful software tools called sniffers. A famous one is Wireshark. Now think of it like a digital wiretap. It puts a network card into what's called promiscuous mode, which basically just tells it to listen to all the traffic on the network, not just the stuff meant for that one computer. It captures every single byte that flows past it. And from all that raw data, they can reconstruct, well, everything. They can pull out the exact hacking tools an intruder was using, images they looked at, emails they sent, even their chat messages. They can sometimes even find usernames and passwords that were sent over unencrypted connections. It paints an unbelievably detailed picture of what a suspect was doing. So, while our digital lives might feel kind of temporary and fleeting, every single device we use has a permanent, unique fingerprint. And every time we connect, we leave a trace. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What story is your digital trail telling?